With technical problems and goofy business practices plaguing big podcast tech, the whole of podcasting is feeling more than growing pains. It's starting to resemble an identity crisis. Your job? Survive it. Hello and welcome to another Podcast Pontifications with me, Evo Terra. It's weird out there in the podosphere. And I'm not just talking about the pandemic or even the massive wave of consolidation that's happening amongst podcasting companies. Now, I think we're actually in a chaotic era of podcasting. Allow me to explain. Podcasting has gone through a series of mostly stable periods for the last 17 or 20 years, depending on how you count, where really nothing, well, I won't say nothing significant. I'll say nothing much happened. And of course, now, please, I understand. We certainly have had our inflection points. But those inflection points of podcasting have tended to center around advances made by big podcast tech. Mostly Apple, but by no means always Apple. Sometimes big publishers have done really big things, and even sometimes music streaming services, oddly enough. But with few exceptions, the tectonic shifts we've seen in podcasting over the last nearly, or has been 2 decades, have tended to better podcasting overall. Now, of course, yes, there were certainly localized areas of both disruption and destruction. I'm thinking the early days of podcasting when iTunes entered the market space and literally decimated, if not outright destroyed, indie podcast listening apps. That entire market collapsed almost overnight. I'm also thinking of when popular shows have been getting swallowed up by some of these big podcast companies, either locking them behind paywalls or it's just simply made exclusive. But overall, when these things happen, you might be disrupted, your world might be disruption, but overall, podcasting in total tended to benefit or at least stay mostly constant. But all that changed recently. Now the dominant forces of podcasting, I'm talking about specifically Apple and Spotify, seem to both be moving away from, if not actively being hostile toward, podcasting. It's been 4 months since Apple broke the entire podcasting ecosystem for themselves, and that means all of us. Apple right now seems to be running on a little more than momentum. And rather than fixing it or even offering up an our bad apology, they're staying silent. And if you watch the news, you're seeing their talent pool get siphoned away. Spotify, vis-a-vis Anchor, is laying bare its plans to completely disintermediate every part of podcasting that they, Spotify, do not own. That's a little chilling. We have social audio, or these drop-in audio platforms, starting with Clubhouse, but now spreading out with Plurk-like infection to Greenhouse or Firehouse or whatever the next house or room or side may look like or sound like. These platforms are seducing podcasters to create this much more ephemeral and much more lower quality content instead of their podcasts, or as they may think, in conjunction with their podcast, as some are doing. That's all weird. Makes you ask the question, what's next? Which I get asked quite a lot. What's the future of podcasting? Well, as I try to answer it, it's always hard to answer that question, but with this much chaos that we're all swimming in right now, everybody who tells you what the future of podcasting is guessing more than they normally do. History can only get us so far when things are this weird. And I assure you, they are very weird right now. The question is really, what can you, the working podcaster, do about it? So you can ride this chaotic era all the way out until we reach stability or some semblance of stability, whatever that looks like, or for however long it lasts. Because there will be another side to this chaos. It won't always be this chaotic. I think there are three things that you should do. Number one, realize that there is no one coming to save us. The big companies that did all those shifting previously for us, they're now looking inwards. They're trying to pull the best parts of podcasting out of podcasting and into their own closed orbit and ecosystem. So what we do as podcasters, whether you consider yourself an indie podcaster or not, it's on us, either collectively or individually, to take care of ourselves. We can't wait around to be rescued by some big tech, as has happened before. This is where we live today. Number two, diversify your assets. Leaning into the first reality that there is no big company coming to save us, don't put your eggs in a single basket. Unless, of course, that is, you are extremely well compensated for putting your eggs in any given basket. Hey, as you know, I think there's no such thing as selling out, only the prospect of selling too cheaply. So, if that works for you, great. But I think you should really, if you're not getting fully compensated from these platforms, then it's up to you to kind of do the opposite of what they're doing, maybe. Like, first thing, stop spreading links and promoting apps that really only benefit these megacorps, that really helped usher in our chaotic area. Try out new things that look interesting. By all means, try out new things that look interesting to you, but don't get enamored by the quick, quote, results, end quote, that you might see there. Evaluate everything that you do for the long haul. Will I still be doing this 6 months, 6 years from now, and how will this help this thing I have created? Diversify. Play. Number three, hold on for dear life, baby. Look, we have over 4 million podcasts out there right now. That's enough. That's enough diversity to survive an extinction level event or a near extinction level event. Because whatever happens during this chaos, it's not going to be good for a lot. But we can make it. We can make it through, and whatever comes on the other side, we can, I don't want to say rebuild, because that's the wrong way to think about it. But we can certainly survive and figure out what the future looks like after this chaos is over, or at least has shifted into a way to where it's a little more stable for us. Every little bit of the things you can do as an indie podcaster can help. Like, for example, if you get value out of the content I'm providing to you, you can show me your support by buying me a coffee. Yes, buymeacoffee.com/evoterra. Support all the things that people in podcasting are doing that make podcasting great. Make sure you're supporting only the companies and only the services and only the apps that really are there making podcasting great. And then, as I said before, hold on. Diversify your assets and realize no one's coming to get you. We'll make it on the other side. That's it. I shall be back tomorrow with yet another podcast, Pontifications. Cheers.